Common problems with model steam engines. This is part 1. If you watch my videos, you will see that I repair a lot of model steam engines. Here is a compilation of some repairs that I frequently undertake. This is a Stuart Models Twin Victoria steam engine, and there is quite a lot wrong with it. Where do I get all these engines that I make videos of me repairing? The answer to that is quite a few of them are from my own personal collection, and some of them are from a friend of mine's personal collection. The rest come from members of the public who contact me and send me their engines for repair. This, of course, is a Stuart Models Twin Victoria. Initially I received a video of it running very badly, but I couldn't really see any great details. But now I have it on the bench, I can see exactly what's wrong with it, quite a lot. If you look at the play here in the big end, it's fairly excessive. The engine's quite well made and very finely finished. I must admit I'm quite happy with the standard of the engineering, but there are certain things that are not right. A lot of the valve gear is loose, and there's quite a lot of play in the crosshead. The best thing to do is to run it. And the first thing that becomes apparent is it sounds like a pneumatic drill. And it wasn't self-starting, it was reluctant to start, I had to give it a push. What I'm going to do now is slow down the video, so you'll be seeing this in slow motion, and I'm going to have a close look at what the crosshead's doing at the end of its travel. It sounds to me like the piston is actually hitting the cylinder cover as the piston rod is out at its full length. And how do I know this? In the same way a doctor diagnoses a patient, I suppose. I've seen it before, many times. And if you watch the crosshead, it actually jumps. Here it comes, and up it goes. And back again. And it jumps here, but not at the other end. It reverses quite well. Also, there is some slack in the crosshead that may have been put in there on purpose to accommodate the problem. And there is an excessive amount of slack in the big end. I don't think this is wear, I think someone's actually tried to ream this out to alleviate the problem. By the magic of video, by stopping it precisely in this position, you can clearly see the crosshead jumping at the end of the stroke. It's quite a useful tool as a video camera. I often use it to diagnose faults, because the video camera sees things that I do not see. What you can see clearly here is that there is something wrong with the valve events. What is supposed to happen is that the eccentric on the crankshaft moves an eccentric rod, which in turn moves an arm, which in turn moves a transversely mounted shaft, on which an arm is located, which is supposed to be firmly clamped to this shaft, and it's not in this case, it's wobbling about. This is the main arm that moves the valve, so it's impossible to get good valve events. Here you can see just how much movement there is. The engine's stationary, and I'm just moving these freehand and not much is happening. This is no good at all. These engines need to be quite precisely set in the valve department. They need to have early admission. If the admission is late, you're going to get some clunking to start with. So this is all going to have to come apart and be repaired. And to further illustrate this, I'm moving the valve while the engine is running, and you can hear that suddenly the engine's beats change. And it's not always self-starting. The main bearings are slightly unorthodox. They do not use split bearings, and coincidentally on the last Twin Victoria that I worked on, the arrangement was exactly the same. Split bearings are used for taking up wear, but luckily in this case the bearings are not worn. In this clip you can clearly see how much movement there is in the crosshead. Quite a ridiculous amount, not to mention how much movement is in the big end itself. Everything is a very sloppy fit here, and something looks very suspicious to me. These components will all be removed and repaired where necessary. Also, I'm going to take the cylinder off and take the cover off and have a look at the piston arrangement. A far less important problem with this engine is that the veneer is coming away from the baseboard, and that doesn't look terribly good. I may be able to fix this, but I can't do much about the chunk that's missing out of the baseboard in the centre of the picture down at the bottom. To fix the veneer problem, I'd have to be very careful and remove it and re-glue it. This is my usual green plastic box that takes all the parts, and off we go. The first thing to do is to remove the crosshead guides. so I'm removing the crosshead guides. Nothing really technical about that. Generally, I would use my Barco adjustable spanner to loosen the nuts, or sometimes a small BA spanner, and then finish it off with a thing like this, or sometimes with a socket from a socket set. And you can see now that I've fully removed the crosshead guides, and you can also see the full extent of the amount of play in the small end. It's quite excessive. And this is my hammer, which I'm showing for no specific reason, except to tell you must not use hammers on model steam engines. Instead, be very patient. Sometimes it can be immensely frustrating, and things go wrong and the engine won't run, you can't get the timing right, things work loose, things break, but never reach for the hammer. Just stop what you're doing and think about it. Go for a walk, have a cup of tea, do anything you like to get your mind away from what you've just done. Then come back with a fresh approach and put it in the bin. What I'm doing at the moment is removing all these nuts from the steam chest cover. That way I can remove the steam chest cover and the inlet pipe, which will allow me to run the engine on one side only. That's the other side, of course. Also, I need to do this in order to remove the cylinder. Here I'm removing the union nut that secures this pipe to the T-piece in the centre, and now I can completely remove the steam chest cover along with the pipe. And I must say that when I looked underneath the steam chest cover and saw the state of the gasket, I wasn't surprised. I get the feeling this has been on and off quite a few times. If you've been following my videos on YouTube, you may notice that I do quite a lot of this sort of thing. It's the only excitement I get these days in my life. What I do find is a lot of these engines that I work on are very well made in the first place. Sometimes they're made by more than one person, and the person who made this was a very good model engineer. It's very well machined. It just went a little bit wrong during the fitting. And if you take a close look at these components, you will see they're very well made indeed. It's time now to fully unscrew the piston rod. It's already partially unscrewed, somebody's already been and done that. Probably in a vain attempt to stop the piston from hitting the back cover, because the piston rod is either too short or something else is not right. And they've also marked it by using a pair of pliers. I'm using a small piece of brass boiler banding, which acts as a cushion and stops the pliers marking the piston rod. I'm using a very small pair of pliers just for the video. In reality, I used a bigger pair like this. Once again, the secret is be firm, but do not put too much weight on the tool, otherwise things will break. Once the piston rod is fully unscrewed, I'm left with the crosshead attached to the connecting rod. A chap wrote in and just cautioned me that the crosshead supports are not exactly in the middle of the cast iron square on the bed. Oh dear. By doing the job and then spending approximately 2 hours an episode after I've filmed it, looking at all these pictures, that is after I've edited all the pictures together, and speaking over them, I don't use a script, I just busk it. So often I get it wrong, but then I retake it, until I get it somewhere near right. It's good fun really, and I enjoy doing it, and will carry on doing it despite these lunatics that keep writing in. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.